Okay, today I'd like to review what you previewed yesterday with circumference and area of a circle. Before we start, let's just review what you learned about the radius and the diameter. Okay, the radius is the distance from the center to the edge of a circle, and remember that can be measured anywhere. All right, and diameter is the distance across the center of the circle. And again, that could also be measured any direction. Our formula for circumference of a circle, which is C, is pi times diameter. Okay, sometimes you'll see it written as 2 times pi times the radius, because remember, 2 times the radius is equal to the diameter. Two of these radii, which is the plural radius, will fit into one diameter. So sometimes you'll see the formula written 2 pi r, but the easiest way to do it is pi times d. Okay, r stands for radius, d stands for diameter. Formula for area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Remember, that means you're taking pi times r. You're not taking 2 times r. If you do that, you're going to get the circumference. You want to take r times r. Area is used to find the space inside the circle. Circumference is used to find the distance around the circle. So it's like perimeter, okay, but it has a special name for circles. So let's take a look at an example. It says find the circumference and area of the circle below. So let's start with the circumference. For the circumference, we're doing pi times d. So remember, this is showing the radius. So my diameter would be double that, or 12 centimeters. So my circumference would be pi times 12. Okay, and I'm going to put that as 12 times pi. Remember, when you multiply numbers, you can change the order. So I can write 12 times pi instead. This is something that we're going to learn. We can leave the answer in terms of pi, so we can leave the answer like that, or we can approximate what that equals by doing 12 times pi on our calculator. Okay, we usually round it, so it's 37.699. So we're going to say 37.7, and the label would be centimeters. So we have two different answers. This is an approximate distance around the circle, 37.7 centimeters. This is what mathematicians like to leave their answer in terms of pi, but these equal the same thing. All right, let's look at the area. For the area, we're doing pi times the radius squared. So pi times 6 times 6. What we could do, we could also leave this in terms of pi. 6 times 6 is 36. And we'll put the pi at the end. That would be our answer in terms of pi. And then if we want to approximate that, we can multiply 36 pi on our calculator. Okay, and you do have a pi button. It's right here. So if you want to do 36 pi, let's see, you can see that that equals 113.097. So we're going to round that to the nearest tenth, or 113.1. All right, and our label for area is centimeters squared. And I forgot to tell you, these little squiggly equal marks, that means approximately. When we round it, we're getting an approximate area inside of this circle. Okay? If you could think of having tiny little squares, centimeter squares, we would be able to fit about 113 of those in there. All right, let's jump over to number 3. Just going to do 2 examples here since we're running out of room. All right, for number 3, the circumference is pi times diameter. So we have pi times 10. Okay, remember, for leaving it in terms of pi, we're going to put the number first and the pi second, almost like we do, well, exactly like we do with variables, like we write 5x instead of x5. All right, this is approximately, let's see what 10 times pi equals, 31.41. So if we want to round that to the nearest tenth, we would say 31.4 millimeters. So this is our exact answer in terms of pi. This is what is approximate when we round it. So it's about 31.4 millimeters around the distance of the circle, or around the circumference of the circle. For area, we do pi times radius squared. All right, and be careful, they're giving us the diameter of 10. So before we calculate that, we need to figure out the radius, which would always be half of the diameter. So our radius would be 5. So pi times 5 would be pi times 25, or 25 pi. And if we 25 times pi is about 78.53. So if we round that correctly to the nearest tenth, we'd have about 78.5. And that would be square millimeters. So remember your label, because we're working with the area, filling up this little area, it would take about 78.5 of these little square millimeters to fill up the space in that circle.